Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Coffee Conversation show powered by the Emerging India Forum, TIF, and our technology partner Prime Infotech Solution. Today's theme is From the Courtroom to the Negotiation Table, Insights of a Dispute Resolution Expert. I am Jolly Singh, co-host at Coffee and associate with Prime Infotech Solution. And today we have with us Jay Mehta, advocate at the High Court of Karnataka, whose expertise lies in resolving disputes through adapt legal maneuvering and advocacy. With a background in BBA LLB from Symbiosis International University and a PG Diploma in Arbitration and Mediation from Maharashtra National Law University, Mumbai, Jay brings a wealth of knowledge and experience to the table. Renowned for his meticulous research, persuasive arguments, and ethical approach, Jay is a beacon of integrity and professionalism in the legal fraternity. Let's delve into his journey, insights, and passion for upholding the rule of law in this stimulating coffee conversation. A very warm welcome to you, sir.
Hi, thank you so much for having me in this conversation.
It's an absolute pleasure, sir. So before we get started with the rounds and the questions that we have with us for you today, I would very much like to just explain what we have scheduled for you this in this today's conversation. We have three rounds in total, which is the professional questions round. The second is the personal questions round, and we complete the entire conversation with a very fun rapid fire round. Also, like, we have a very small surprise for you at the end of the rapid fire round. So if you answer really well, and like it's we have a very delightful surprise for you. So yeah, so be ready for that as well. So let's get started with the very first round, which is the professional questions round. And my very first question to you would be that what inspired you to pursue law as a career, and how has that motivation evolved over time?
Law as a career was introduced to me by my aunt. She was, this is sometime in 2014 when she was just in her law school. So I very fondly remember that she had given me a textbook on constitutional law just from her set of books. And I was about in my ninth or 10th standard at that time. And I used to just flip through pages, just out of curiosity. I had no idea what this was and I think that was my introduction. My aunt was really well instrumental in giving me the platform to find myself in this field. So that was how it all started.
Okay, so can you tell us your early journey days and what steps did you take to reach here that you are in your profession right now?
I think early journey days are quite, standard for all of us. I had gone to a career launcher where
Yeah.
I did the preparation for the CLAT and also for the other entrance exams that were there. I had cleared the entrance exams, but decided to get into Symbiosis Law School, Hyderabad. So I joined the law school in 2017, after which it's been a fun ride. I've met a lot of friends over time, and created a very wide network, which I would totally attribute to this field of practice.
Yeah, definitely. Can you discuss a particularly challenging legal dispute that you have resolved this since you are like into dispute resolution and everything, and the strategies you employ to achieve the favorable outcome in your favor?
Sure. Actually, this one dispute that I'm going to talk about was it was a foreign investor that was investing in a Indian company. They were looking to buy out the Indian company. It was a fairly small enterprise here, and essentially the deal was that once they buy out the owner would then continue his role as a
Okay.
CEO for a certain period of time, after which the complete handover would take place, which is usually a standard form of practice in these kind of transactions. Unfortunately, what had happened is that once the foreign investor was on board and once the first tranche of the amount was transferred, there seemed to be, because now the foreign investor is also taking decisions, there were a lot of decisions that were taken that did not were not comfortable or not some kind of strategy that the previous owner would have taken. And considering that the owner was still at the helm of the company, it was becoming some kind of a conflict of interest situation. And the enterprise owner, at least the former enterprise owner, had approached us looking for some kind of resolution because he felt that he was being compromised in this whole transaction. And considering that it was a very large entity that was acquiring this enterprise, we thought of trying some kind of sort of a novel approach where we tried to blow hot and cold at the same time. So we tried to file a case before the court to show that our intention is not to be blown away, but at the same time we also extended a arm to settle the dispute and see if there was a way to move ahead. I think this approach in trying to clear the dispute and resolve it for the enterprise owner did work successfully because the foreign investor was more than willing to sit across the table and settle the dispute. And I think within 2 or 3 days, everything was completely done. We were able to secure a complete exit for the enterprise owner along with the remaining payment that was due to him. And the company was also transferred to the foreign investor. And so there was a complete separation, but without any much confusion. And I think that was something that the enterprise owner was really looking forward to. So we were glad to have been able to provide him the solution that he was looking for.
Okay, so sir, now that we are talking about the alternate dispute resolution mechanisms and everything, such as arbitration and mediation, how does it play in your practice? What role does it exactly play in your practice, and how do you navigate them effectively?
I think arbitration and mediation are two very important forms of dispute resolution, especially in a country like India where the courts are really overwhelmed.
Yeah.
You also see a growing resonance with ODR, where small kind of credit card fraud or credit card related disputes, banks are preferring to do online dispute resolution and get them resolved, these small claims, which is really good because it will gradually reduce the burden and stress that we have on courts. Of course, unfortunately, there is still a mechanism where after having a full blown arbitration, you still have procedures to again get it back into the court. But I think with time, as we streamline this form of dispute resolution, I do personally believe that there will be a general reduction in the number of pending cases in court. So far as how I personally uh, I'm involved with this practice is mainly I handle commercial and civil disputes. And one strategy that I always prefer to use is to generally try and first settle the dispute as far as possible, call at least for a negotiation or some kind of a settlement with the other counterparty. And if that does not happen, then we move into initiating the arbitration and then try to get the matter resolved through the arbitration by obtaining a full and final award. So I dabble in both arbitration and mediation, but so far focusing more on the arbitration aspect because usually companies and clients prefer to have the matter arbitrated and get a final award than to mediate. But actively trying to change that notion that about mediation and to encourage more people to try and resolve the dispute amicably as well.
Okay, great. So, sir, how do you approach legal research and analysis when tackling complex legal issues, such as you mentioned, like one of the instances that you shared with us before? And how do you ensure the accuracy and reliability of your findings?
I think research is never really uh, complete. There's always
Yeah.
something or the other that is left out or missing, or that's how it is. But personally, I try my best to. I like talking to seniors in the field. I like to gain their insights into these in when discussing complex legal issues, because I've found that many instances are there where these senior professionals can give you a totally different viewpoint to the dispute, and suddenly, all of a sudden, it just seems much more doable or easy to resolve. So my first go-to is to always just have a brainstorming session with a senior colleague or a senior member at the bar. After which, of course, I do my research. I read, I look for cases online on the various platforms that we do have, like SCC, Manupatra.
Yeah.
And after collating all of this, I again, because I am myself, I'm someone who is still a junior member of the bar. I always then do like to once again run it past somebody whom I can trust, and just tell them that this is what the issue is, this is what I think is the solution, and just hear from them whether they think it's doable. And I think this helps me solidify my research, because there are many instances where I am asked questions from these seniors, which either helps me better prepare or think, realize, and redo my analysis and approach to a problem. So, especially when complex disputes are involved, I dabble between doing my own research and talking to seniors. And I feel that this is the perfect combination, at least for junior members, to tackle these kind of legal issues.
Okay, so like you mentioned about talking to the seniors and dabbling through the your senior associates and in the bar and the firms and known people. So how much would you suggest that having like connections is important in our legal profession? Because when we have to continuously seek help from it, like we have to like coexist, because information sharing is something which is very crucial to this profession. So how do you explain the importance of having the connections and everything?
See, when we say connections, I think that is something that has to be built.
Yeah.
Uh, I myself am a first generation lawyer, so I mean, with observing and just cold calling people or just randomly showing up and talking to people, introducing myself, that's how I've been able to make a few friends at the bar. And I think it is very important for people, especially in our profession, to actively be in the circuit of the bar, at least, even if there are many days when, even if there are no matters, I prefer to see if I can just be in court, just to observe what is happening, and you maybe spend the time meeting somebody or just discussing new points of law that have been passed by the various high courts or in the Supreme Court. And I think that helps you build relationships. And just one thing that I've observed is that the more you are seen in court, the easier it becomes, because if seniors just observe and notice you every day in court, all of a sudden it's just that much more easier to have the first conversation with them, rather than you just appearing one day in court and then trying to speak to everybody over there. So I think it is a slow drawn process, but a very important one. And definitely, I think connections in the sense, yes, knowing people at the bar and building that kind of a relationship with them where you're able to take their assistance as a mentee should definitely be one of the approaches that young lawyers and first generation lawyers use to make a mark in the profession.
Okay, so how do you stay updated with the latest developments and trends in the legal field? And how do you incorporate this knowledge into your practice, given the profession is being very dynamic? Do you rely completely on the internet sources, or like you have the preference of being preferably going towards the traditional sources as well?
Um, I mean, online sources are definitely helpful. I think there are many websites that do provide instant updates of Supreme Court and High Court matters as they are happening live. So that's of course a great way to be abreast and up to date with knowledge. But another way that I have found and found cases and just known about the law is by just sitting in court, especially at the Karnataka High Court here in Bangalore. There are many instances where even senior members of the bar are, you know, are helped and showed the way by judges literally uh, telling them that there are latest judgments that have come out which are not known even to the
Yeah,
senior
yeah,
members.
yeah.
And sometimes you're just mesmerized because that's where you see the collaboration between the bar and the bench in true sense, where the bench, while being a neutral adjudicatory party, is still trying to help both parties by telling and just showing them the way to see that, see, there are other case laws
Hmm.
which I would like you to consider and then explain the point of law. And I think coming from a high court where this is a relatively common practice, where the judges are very open and outspoken and like to have discussion on the law and are not very strict in the methods of the functionings of the court. I think it's just also great to just sit in court and have people argue and present their cases and listen to the research and the analogies, which also helps you build your practice and gives you additional knowledge which you can then go and do your homework on. So yeah.
Definitely, sir. So, what motivates you to pursue a career in dispute resolution, and what aspects of your work do you find most rewarding? You just mentioned about you being also like handling the commercial and civil transactions. So, a dispute resolution is also something that you have been a part of. So,
Yes.
how do you see towards it?
See, I think court craft generally has is something that has I find it to be very attractive. I do enjoy just appearing before court and putting forward a case, irrespective of what the dispute is about. And that is something that just going to court every day, being able to make submissions, being able to try at least to convince the court on a point of law is something that has kept me motivated and has kept me coming back to the profession. In fact, because a lot of my colleagues and batchmates from college have chosen to move on into completely different spheres of
Yeah,
I mean, various other professions. But I mean, for me, at least so far as the dispute resolution front is concerned, it's just uh, it's just great to, at the end of the day, to be able to give your client at least some sort of a settlement or some time make some progress in the case where you're able to just get up and say that okay, fine, I think this is going the way we want it to. And yeah, I just having that relationship with a client and the ability to stand before a judge and make your submissions, it's just something that has really been a very attractive proposition to me, and I think that is what has kept me motivated.
definitely, sir. Sir, how do you manage your workload and prioritize tasks effectively in a fast-paced legal environment?
I think for us lawyers, I think it's best to time box your day, have certain slots of the day where certain work has to be completed. And that does not mean that you hurry and do a shoddy job about it, but it keeps you on a deadline. So there is discipline and there is a method to trying to finish work instead of just prolonging it for days together. So I prefer to time box where I know that okay, my court hours usually get over by 5 p.m. Some days even earlier. So I know that okay, post five, a short break, and then you start with preparing for next day's matters or the research or your drafting. And on days when you're a little light on your schedule, your court schedule, always better to catch up on additional work that you do foresee coming down the line. Always better to stay disciplined and try to finish it so that may on those days you're a little light and you're able to focus on other tasks. So I think it's mainly discipline and being able to time box your tasks, and I think that has seemed to work fairly well for me.
Last question for the professional round, sir, for you. That how has technology helped in your career and the legal tech tools that has impacted your work? Also, if you would be very much able to mention some of the legal tools that you prefer using for our like audience, for our fellow professionals.
I use SCC Online a lot. I think SCC Online is my go-to for anything. I really, I mean, not to advertise, but I do really enjoy the interface that they use.
Yeah.
And it is just, I mean, I've used it since my first day of law school, and I find, personally, I find that to be the easiest platform to find any kind of cases and research. Apart from that, I think a simple Google search, because there are many law firms that publish articles, and you have other websites that also publish cases and judgments, and it's you just have to use the right keywords. And I think Google and SCC and other platforms like Manupatra are just there to help you right away. So, I mean, my legal tools are fairly the more mainstream ones,
Yeah.
which I prefer using. Yes.
So, do you also have something which is not very much mainstream, or like you prefer going for it? Like,
No, honestly, no. I think my, apart from, yes, of course, using your commentaries and all of that, but then because I feel commentaries have become less mainstream now with
yeah.
everything going digital. But other than that, I just stick to the basics of
Mm.
SEC,
And
Manupatra.
how do you form your opinion about the YouTube channel, legal YouTube channels being run about the latest developments and the cases and everything? Do you find them helpful in any manner?
Um, I personally never have actually visited these kind of channels
Yeah.
before, but from what I do understand of them, I do think they are a great way for at least for lawyers and also lay people who are not in the field to just understand what is happening in the world and in the sphere of law. And I think it's there. I'm sure they're just all doing a good job in trying to make information more accessible and more easy to comprehend. So, uh, yeah, just great job to those guys as well.
Okay, so that is it for the professional round questions. We are towards our next round, which is the personal round questions. And my very first question would be about your formative years. Also, an insight about how your law school journey was, uh, and, rather, and also towards you like just shifting from one job to another. How did you get your first job and everything? Everything we would like to know.
Oh, sure. I mean, my formative years were fairly regular. I mean,
Okay.
normal school going kid. I think law school was a fairly interesting period in life, because I think that was one of the first opportunities where I was able to meet a very diverse set of people. Being part of Symbiosis Hyderabad, I had batchmates from all over India, some of them even not from India. So
Yeah.
it was just really great to meet so many people and just have the exposure and understand different cultures and thought process and the way people function. And I think I had a really great time in law school. The faculty was at that time was just great, really supportive staff and faculty that were really uh, into developing the research caliber and the research strengths of the students who were there. So I think law school was absolutely great, and it was a great opportunity and a platform for us to interact with various set of people and also go for internships all across India. I think that was something that they actively promoted and advocated for. They also had a very good mooting culture, and we had opportunities to go for international moot courts and all of those things. And it was absolutely great to, at such a young age, be able to meet and compete with people from all across the world. And it kind of gives you a really clear picture of what exactly is happening and how much effort your peers are putting, and from various
Yeah.
jurisdictions across. And it just you just know how to improve, and you know how to learn and how to make yourself better. And I think my college was a really great place to do that. I so far as my getting my first job was concerned, I was an intern at my first place of work, and I had got a callback internship, after which I had the opportunity to join them. And it was a really great period. I had really great mentors in the firm, and really, really supportive colleagues who and supportive admin staff as well, who were just willing to uh, like handhold you whenever required, and also give you the space to think and reflect and take your own decisions. And I think that was a really amazing way to have as a start of my career, at least. At present, I'm actually looking to pursue my master's. So that is why I've chosen to take a break from practice, and I've decided to join Leiden University for their International Dispute Settlement and Arbitration program, which is coming up sometime mid of
Yeah.
August this year. So I will now be moving to pursue my masters, and then uh, see how things flow after that.
Okay, so just getting to like you mentioning about your master's. So what exactly motivated you to just uh like take a break in between from your having a good position in the firm, being at a good spot in your practice in your legal career, and going for the master's? Because like there
I
are
think
a lot. Sorry to just like I would like to complete the question that a lot of um, taboos are also connected with the masters in our profession, particularly that it's not as such considered to be like very much necessary, or unless you want to like go for that particular thing in which like master is something which is considered very necessary.
I completely agree. I don't think masters is something that is a necessity at all in that
Yeah.
sense. I myself know a lot of people who have just come had just a simple law degree, and they've gone on to do really well for themselves. So far as I am concerned, the question of doing a masters was always there. It was
Mm.
just about when to do it.
Yeah, okay.
And I mean, couple years back we had the pandemic and all of that going on, so I was not sure if that was the right time to do it. So I just wanted to wait it out and let things settle down a bit before I
Okay.
wanted to pursue my masters. So that's why I decided to first have a few years in the practice, and then go on for the masters. And I apart from that, I think that was a really great decision and move to make, because personally, from other seniors who have also pursued masters, one thing that I've understood is that, at least in uh, courses abroad, there is unlike here in India, there is no age factor involved. There you will find people who are even well into their mid 40s coming to do the
Yeah.
program.
Yeah.
And it's more about the expertise and your knowledge and your thinking and your exposure that matters. And I think for working for 2 years is been a really good way for me to do it, because I feel that I am a little more prepared and have at least some kind of knowledge to build on when I go and pursue. And it's not just going to be a simple paper degree that I then get and come back. So that's one of the reasons why I thought it will be better to give it a wait for some time and then do it when we are really, sure and ready to do it.
Definitely, sir. Could you share a meaning, like, do you have any meaningful lesson that you have learned from your mentor or colleagues in your professional journey?
I mean, just just being very confident and free in your thought process. I feel a lot of people get severely hindered by the way in which their colleagues or their seniors or their peers work and think about the law. And I think that is something that was not how I was exposed or introduced to it. My mentors and my seniors were always more about giving us the opportunity to just think and make decisions for ourselves. Of course, you do run it by your senior at the end of the day, but at least you have thought about it and you have an opinion about it, and you're not just blindly following a particular standard form of approach. And you have some kind of you have an opportunity to at least debate or explain why you think a particular way will be better to resolve or to proceed with a case. And I think the just that is something that I was taught very young into the profession, and I am truly grateful for um, that opportunity and that kind of thinking.
Okay, sir. What are your long-term career goals and how do you plan to achieve them?
Actually, at this point, right immediately, right now is just to pursue the masters. I think with time, I would like to uh, see if I can have a more international based practice
Oh,
where it's more focused on international disputes and uh, I mean investor state arbitrations and those that kind of realm of work. But I'm just also taking it as it comes, so I'm trying to do it step by step. So for me now, the next step is to do my masters really well, and then see how things progress thereon.
great, sir. Uh, like just going like shifting the pace to a little towards like being very having a relaxed conversation that how do you unwind and relax after a particularly demanding day at you?
Um, uh, actually, I most of my time goes in commute, so I think
Okay,
now
yeah.
I would try to take that to
Bangalore
be the
things.
time that I unwind and relax. So usually that is the time I spend when I'm talking on the phone, catching up with friends or colleagues, or just
Yeah.
listening to music or anything. And I
Mhm.
think that journey home, 50% of the unwinding is done. So the other
Okay.
50% is just reading some kind of a novel or something and then just going to bed.
Okay, so are there any travel destinations on your bucket list that you are very much eager to visit?
Not really. I think been really blessed to have the opportunity to keep moving around from time to time, and I just hope that continues and I do have more opportunities to move around. Not really particular on any specific place, but just happy to have the opportunity to see the world.
Last question for the round that if you are asked to describe Jay in one line, what that would
I think Jay is someone who is persistent and reliable.
be. Okay.
Uh, that is how I would like to describe myself.
Okay. So that is it for the personal round questions and as well. So we are towards our last round for this conversation, which is the rapid fire round. As mentioned earlier, that we have a small surprise for you if you like perform really well for us. So, are you ready? You just have to be like very quick with the answers. You have to like answer in a word or a sentence.
Sure.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so tea or a coffee?
Coffee.
Early bird or a night owl?
I'm a mix of both. So, but
Okay.
yeah,
Fiction or non-fiction?
fiction,
Beach vacation or a mountain retreat?
mountain retreat,
Cats or dogs?
dogs,
Sweet or savory?
sweet.
Favorite cuisine?
South Indian. Uh,
Okay. Favorite TV show?
I really used to enjoy watching Friends. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Winter or summer?
Winters.
Okay. If you could have dinner with any historical figure, who would it be and why?
Any historical figure, my answer would probably be Abraham Lincoln. I
Okay.
I think he's a very interesting person and someone whom I've I don't know, I've just been very intrigued from the stories and the history that we have learned
Yeah,
about
yeah.
the United States. I think he is one man who I would really like to have a conversation with, considering how things have now shaped up for the United States. It would be really interesting to have just sit down
Definitely.
and talk to him and give him a download of how it is now.
Okay, sir. So that was it for our today's conversation. We are done with our last round as well. And as mentioned, the little surprise that I have been mentioning again and again to you, there is this ebook with us. Uh, Top six that you would be very soon be receiving on your mail address. Our team
Okay.
will be getting in touch with you, and this ebook would be sent to you via mail, with along with some other small goodies from our side, Prime Infotech Solutions. So stay tuned for that. Our team will be getting in touch with you. So yeah, and that is it. This has been a very wonderful experience, and I hope you enjoyed as much as we enjoyed having you on this show. I again thank you for taking your time out of your busy schedule to have this session with us. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. I had a great time. So really nice and to have had this conversation with you. Thank you so
Same
much
here, sir.
for this opportunity.
Same here, sir. For our audience, please stay tuned to watch this and many other interesting conversation episodes on our YouTube channel, The Coffee Conversation Show. Please subscribe to the channel, and we would be looking forward to our yet another interesting guest with yet another cup of coffee. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. Thank you so much, sir, once again.
Thank you.